AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Well, good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. Anything new going on down there at Joe's Karting? You guys started, it's after Labor Day you guys go to the summer or the winter hours, right?
Right.
Okay, so you're
that Tuesday after Labor Day, we then open Tuesday through Friday. We open at 4. Mm-hmm. Closing hours are the same. It's just the opening. So
just a couple hours later because kids are in school.
Kids are in school.
Parents,
Yeah, I might be getting to work a little bit later. You know, I can start sleeping in. Rich ain't listening to this.
Yes, he is.
Yes, he is.
Wait for your phone to ring. Buddy, we need to have a meeting.
Yeah.
All right, welcome to the Front Stretch. We've got a big show lined up for you today, as we will talk Bristol results from last night and get an update on the Chase Picture in turn number 2. We're going to talk about results from Eagle Raceway. One of our favorite little drivers and favorite little hosts won herself a race at Eagle Raceway last night. We'll talk more about that. Plus, we'll get results from Crawford County Speedway. We'll try to get to I-80 in Shelby County if we can get to it. And plus, probably the biggest news I've heard in dirt tracking over the last couple of weeks, no Tiny Lund. We'll talk about that. And then turn number 3, we will talk with Curt Peters of the Farren Fan Club, a fundraiser that is in effect for Dave Farren, as he's been diagnosed with cancer, so they're trying to help raise money for him. And we'll talk Bristol Boston Foundation Fund, and I haven't even got to turn 4 yet. Yeah. Take a breath. We'll talk to Jim Howe of Mid America Motorplex, who has the big car show going on today. We'll talk to Jim. He'll give us a call in.
Is that the Geezers?
That is the Geezers. He had a little bit of a sampler Thursday at Quicker Steak and Lube for Classic Car Night.
I heard about that.
Wow, that was absolutely gorgeous. Those cars are phenomenal. You got to get out there, and that goes on today. We'll talk to Jim about all the details about that. Plus, we'll preview Atlanta Motor Speedway and so much more. Thank you for joining us today on the Front Stretch. Let's talk Bristol results. You were off last night from racing, so did you get to partake in the Bristol beatings?
Yeah, I finally got to be I got to tune in at about a lap 100, so I missed the first 100 laps. I tell you what, I had mixed reviews about the race. I didn't know. It wasn't as boring as some of the Bristol races I've seen in the past. There was a lot of passing, but, man, you could really tell that this new chase format really have the drivers, reaching deep, because there was a lot of, I'm going to put the chrome horn to you in some ways. And
I'm going to contradict you a little bit. I was actually really surprised. I thought they were driving harder, but I thought they were still as respectful as they were last year. Like Matt Kenseth, for instance, we'll never know if he could have gotten back to Joey Logano if he'd have moved him with a lap or 2 to go. But it seemed like Matt was putting up more of a fight, keeping Joey behind him, just hoping and praying that something would happen and he could get that win. Because Matt doesn't necessarily need that win, but it's that security blanket in his pocket.
Well, I thought they were driving harder because I seen Logano crowd Menard up to the wall.
Yeah.
Well, then you could see. It looked like, from my standpoint in my living room, it looked like Menard had drove hard and deep into the corner a couple times and was like, well, I'm just going to punch you right out of the way here, and I'm going to get right by you, kid. He did make an honest effort, I thought at least once, to move Logano. I tell you what, another driver that was shocking me was Keselowski. He didn't look all that bad, really. For having a car that was really, really tight, he made a bonsai run there at turn 4 in the last lap, and I was like, ooh, is Bad Brad going to get it? No, he's not going to get it. But, great kudos to Logano. I mean, that Bristol race, that's 500 laps, and I was thinking about this. We were coming home from a birthday party yesterday. We go to Crawford County or we go to I-80 or Eagle, and even some of these big shows like the Silver Dollar Nationals, 80 laps. Mm-hmm. Well, that seems like a lot of laps to us, and it is a lot of laps, but 500 of those laps.
Yeah.
Can you imagine what you'd feel like after 500 laps on a half-mile track?
I always hate when you're watching the pre-race, and the announcers and the commentators are trying to build up what this is going to be. And so this is always the hardest track. This is always the toughest track. This is always the biggest race. This is all, and they put all these adjectives before the race to try to build a picture. And then the race doesn't turn out to be what they've expected it to be. I always laugh because I take a mental tally of how many times I hear this is the biggest race for drivers every year. Well, they say that about Daytona, Talladega, and Indy. So if those three are the biggest, which one is actually the biggest race? And then they say about Watkins Glen and Sonoma and Bristol and Martinsville, this is the toughest race for drivers. Well, which one is it? The toughest means it's number one.
Yeah.
But
what do you think of the toughest track is?
I think it's last night at Bristol.
Oh,
but
I think
it's a
Bristol.
mix. I think it's a real mix between Bristol and Martinsville, because it's a mentally exhausting race. Because I have a short fuse. You actually kind of just saw it as we were going on the show. I lost my cool a little bit when it came to a situation, but to have a faster car and to know I can't go down to that bottom lane and get by you in a lap or two, it wears on. It's got to wear on you as a driver. It's got to be so frustrating, especially if you're Matt Kenseth. Or if you're Kevin Harvick and you've got a good car, you've got the fastest car, and you're trying to get by them, but they won't move, and they've got the only lane to get by.
At this stage of the game in the Cup Series, when we've only got a few races left before the chase starts, two races before the chase starts.
Yeah.
Right now is go time. As if it's not go time all these other races. Right now is go. You've got to try. Yeah, time is running out. So you ain't got time to wait around with some Sally no-name to sit there and putt around the track. You got to go.
These guys, Matt Kenseth, Ricky Stenhouse, Jamie McMurray, Paul Menard, Greg Biffle, Kyle Larson, all those guys, Ryan Newman and Jeff Burton, all finished in the top 15. Several of them led laps or were up in there within a window, and all of them would have secured a chase spot had they won. Now, I believe mathematically Matt Kenseth has himself a chase spot. I think he is locked in based on points. He doesn't have to win, but he wants to win. You never want to walk into the chase, because he'll go from being, I think what he is right now, he is 5th in points. He'll fall to 13th in points. So he wants to get that win more than I think a lot of other drivers out there, especially since he won so much last year. He knows he's got the crew. He knows he's got the crew chief. He's got the car. He's got the talent to get it done. He's just not able to get it done. But, yeah, I recommended to a lot of people who picked Kyle Larson yesterday. When that pick came across your email, I replied back and I said, are you sure you want to take Larson, because he has to start in the back of the field? You looked at the qualifying sheets. I can't remember where he was marked to start, but he went to a backup car, so he had to go to the back of the field. And as talented as he is, and as talented as a lot of these guys are, being stuck in the back of the pack, my point was almost proven when he went a lap down on lap 60. Had they gotten around Michael McDowell and putting Michael McDowell a lap down, and Michael McDowell would have gotten the lucky dog, Kyle Larson's night would have been a whole lot different. But as it turns out, he ends up getting himself a 12th place finish, and he's able to come through the field. But my biggest point is it all comes around to Bristol is the hardest track to pass at. One of the hardest tracks to look at. I just did it. It's one of the hardest tracks to pass at. Because of this, it's a single lane track that unless you can really make a good move, a dive bomb into the center of the line, down into the bottom line, in the center of the turns, and do basically a slide job and cut that guy off and pray that he doesn't wreck you for doing it, you're not getting around him. And that's what really worried me about Kyle Larson, was because he is a good, steady, talented driver that takes his time. He doesn't move people. He takes his time getting around drivers. Bristol's not a place you can take your time.
No.
Kevin Harvick was the man that was getting around people because he was getting people around, if you know what I mean. He was, and I kept thinking to myself, boy, oh boy, if he'd been at I-80 or Eagle, next week there'd have been the Kevin Harvick rule at Eagle Raceway. He definitely got into the back of several drivers, but you got to do it at Bristol. And we were laughing about the Denny Hamlin post-rec comment, where halfway through the interview, I think Denny kind of realized, well, it's Bristol. Kevin had to do what he had to do. It resulted in
that
Denny
poor
being
kid just
wrecked.
looked like he was going to cry. I mean, is Kleenex going to come out and sponsor your car next weekend or something?
But that's Denny Hamlin. So the results from Bristol Motor Speedway for the Irwin Tools night race. Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski, Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, Kurt Busch all came home top 5. How about Jimmy Johnson? Started right next to Kyle Larson in the back of the field and made his way up to get himself a 4th place finish. He didn't start in the back of the field. He got himself 2 pit road speeding penalties. 2 of them. He still comes home with a 4th place finish. Then Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Carl Edwards, Jamie Mack, Paul Menard, and Greg Biffle round out your top 10. Way to go to Jamie Mack. I know it's hard to say way to go because he didn't get the win, but led 148 laps.
He had a pretty good car.
Had a great car, and that last pit stop just something. I don't know if it was a bad set of tires or the adjustment went off on him, but it just didn't work out very well for him, and he fell back into the field. Jeff Gordon is your points leader over Dale Jr., Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, and Matt Kenseth. The rest of your top 10s for your point standings: Jimmy Johnson, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Ryan Newman, and Clint Bowyer. Kyle Busch, 17th, Denny Hamlin, 20th, A.J. Allmendinger, 21st, Kurt Busch, 22nd, Eric Almirola, 24th. I list those off because those are the other drivers that have wins and will be in the chase for the 2014 chase for the Cup. Tough drivers at Bristol, drivers that had tough days. Eric Almirola, hard wreck for him, as well as Dale Jr. Kind of a weird one. I expected him to get back out there, but when you rip the side of that car off and all the energy-absorbing foam goes away, apparently it's a little tougher to repair that car and keep it out there on the track. And then Kyle Busch, you were talking about that story with Kyle Busch about the possible rift between him and crew chief Dave Rogers. You can hear it on the radio. I kind of wonder if Dave Rogers will be back as crew chief. And at some point in time, you got to wonder when Kyle Busch has ran his course at Joe Gibbs Racing. And I think he has another year or 2 left on his contract. But after Sonoma, remember he pulled into the garage, and the last thing he said before he shut the car off and unplugged from the radio was, "Is that M&M's contract signed yet? I'm not sure if I'm wanted anymore." And then, then the radio was off. That was as all the rumors were starting to swirl that Carl Edwards had signed with a new team. Happens to be Joe Gibbs Racing. Now, Kyle is secure, but at some point in time, you get tired of dealing with this crap, right? Yeah. I mean, at some point in time, enough's enough. You got to just... he's the only driver out there that would be mad about a second-place finish. He's the only driver I know of. And not only mad, I can understand if you're upset you didn't get the win, you had the car to win, you led the most laps, and I'm referring to the Nationwide Series race on Friday night. Had a great car, you just had a bad restart. Well, he walked off like somebody shot his puppy, and he threw a big fit. And it was everyone else's fault but his own.
You know,
he spun the tires.
All the way down to the local racing scene, I-80 Speedway, Crawford County, Shelby County, Eagle Raceway, EIO Speedway, all these racetracks. Anymore, the competition is so stiff and it's so equal. You know, 10, 20 years ago, guys would have been happy to get second, third place. Anymore, nowadays, you go to some of these racetracks, you get a top 10, that's like a win.
Yeah.
If you can run a top 10 here, you can win anywhere.
Yeah.
You know, so, yeah, to sit there and throw a complete fit over getting second place, that just doesn't show a lot of maturity on your part.
He's had a lot to put up with lately. I mean, I'll give it to him. He's had some very bad finishes lately, from accidents to blown tires to blown engines to, you know, whatever it is. But I'll just keep saying it. The mark of a true champion, you keep looking at Jimmy Johnson, and you understand why the man has won 6 championships. The only time we've ever heard him come off on the radio and really make a comment at Chad Knaus was a couple of years ago when they were struggling, and he told Chad Knaus his cheerleading sucks. He needs to just he needs to just stay with being a crew chief, not a cheerleader. That was the only thing we've really ever heard over the radio from those two.
Wait.
Every single race, we hear Kyle Busch make some sort of a comment. Yeah. Something that you're just like, well, he's given up.
Well, think about it. If you're Rogers and Busch is sitting there making a comment about the car every week and complaining and whining, do you really, really want to be that guy's crew chief? Does it take a little wind out of your sails and go, we got to go to work today. We got to set this car up just so I can get my butt chewed out again. You know, I'm getting tired. I wouldn't want to do it. If I sat there, you know, Fred Lauer, my crew chief, if I chewed Fred's little 120-pound butt out every day, he ain't going to be with me much longer.
Yeah.
You know, you got to show a little bit of respect, and you got to have those boundaries there. You know, the best thing that Busch could do is just keep his damn mouth shut. And
well, that's something that the Busch brothers are never able to do.
Well, no, not really.
But, I sense another Texas incident coming on. Texas Instruments. All of a sudden, I'm thinking of the calculator
That's
company.
what I was thinking.
I sense another incident coming on because he's starting to get out of control again. And as good of a owner as Joe Gibbs is, and as much as he's used to personalities and egos with being a former football coach, he just can't seem to get through to Kyle Busch's head. Just shut your mouth and drive.
Let me ask you this. Carl Edwards coming over. Do you see him having Carl do a one-on-one with Busch?
Nope. I don't think
Do you think those two are going to mix at all?
Nope. No, well, I think that they'll mix much like he's mixed with his other teammates. They put up with him. He's a talented driver, and I think he's got enough talent that he could be a championship driver. He's got to get his headspace right, though. And that's what it comes down to. Like I talked about, his poor finishes. His last good finish was Indianapolis, July 27th. He took home second. Since then, Watkins Glen, 42nd. Michigan, he finished 40th. And Michigan, he finished 39th. And Bristol, he came home, where did I just say? 36th. So, and at Pocono, I missed Pocono. Nope, Pocono. Sorry. Pocono, he finished, I didn't have my notes ready to go, 42nd. Terrible finishes for him. But Jimmy Johnson, I talked about this earlier, that when he won the championship last year, remember he had that 8, 9, 10 race skid just before the chase started? He was 42nd, 40th, 30th, 25th, couldn't even sniff the top 10. Guy comes out in the chase, we've reset, we're ready to go. Brand new attitude, guy goes out and wins the championship. That's all that's got to be done. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back. We're trying to get a hold of Stan Cisar to call in and give us updates from Eagle Raceway. We'll get updates from Crawford County, Shelby County, I-80, and so much more. It's all around the corner here on the Front Stretch.
All race car drivers know how frustrating it can be to lose a race because of a cheap part. They save pennies by going with the cheap part, and now they're on the hauler watching someone else celebrate in victory lane. Cutting corners in racing is just as costly as cutting corners on your car. Make sure you have quality parts on your car by heading to O'Reilly Auto Parts. With 13 locations in Omaha and Council Bluffs, it's easy to find an O'Reilly Auto Parts near you. Find your parts fast and easily online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility. With karts that can reach 45 miles an hour because they rip the governors out and design the track to be fun yet challenging. This isn't your typical amusement park go-kart track. This is white-knuckle, full-throttle racing at its best. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everybody's raving about. Located just off 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs or online at joeskarting.com and on Facebook, too. Get to Joe's today and unleash your inner race car driver.
The best bike night on the planet continues with the hottest Wednesday nights around at Quaker Steak and Lube. Smoking hot deals like $6.99 lube burgers or $3 Busch Lights, $4 aluminum pint bottles, smoking bands on the lube stage, and smoking giveaways like concert tickets to Firehouse at Ralston Arena or Stir Cove. Bike night at Quaker Steak and Lube, brought to you by Holstein's Harley-Davidson each and every Wednesday night, where there's never a cover charge and always a great time. Quaker Steak and Lube, next to the Mid America Center in Council Bluffs. 40 years and still smoking.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit KansasSpeedway.com today. We're working the high line into Turn 2 on the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Welcome back to the Front Stretch, heading into turn number 2, brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts, online at KaziskiAutoParts.com. Full parts. That doesn't make any sense.
You know, I was thinking
full
about
warranty,
them.
Let me finish. Full warranty with your parts are available. They're used parts, but they're warranty.
They're quality parts.
Yeah, they're backed up by Team PRP. Premium Recycled Parts. That's what PRP stands for. It's an organization that makes sure that you're living up to the standard. They're not going to give you a cracked whatever, whatchamacallit, Jimmy bar. We'll call it a Jimmy bar. They're not going to give you a bent Jimmy bar. Those are important parts on your car, by the way. I've had to replace several of them when I took my truck to the Ford dealership. That's a Seinfeld joke.
You know, it's kind of funny you said a Jimmy bar, because at Joe's Karting, I was looking at doing some improvements to the carts, and I actually came up with a Buddy bar. That is a real deal.
Is that nitrous oxide?
No.
Hey.
Yeah.
No. Your insurance
no.
wouldn't allow for that. All right, Kaziski Auto Parts, 51st and I Street. It's really simple. You got a broken part on your car? Head to Kaziski Auto Parts. Go talk to any one of the certified Team PRP sales reps. They'll get you the quality used part that you need for your car to get you back on the road, and they're going to do it at lower prices than you're going to pay at the auto parts store.
Ask for Andrew Kaziski. I was down there the other day, and Papa Joe said Andrew's numbers are way down.
Oh.
We need to get Andrew to be doing some more work. So call Andrew Kaziski. He'll take good care of you.
And to be honest with you, we give Andrew a lot of grief. I am really surprised at how I don't know if I should say surprised, but I'm impressed with the wealth of knowledge that guy has when it comes to a part. You know, he knows everything about these cars, and that's the kind of mechanic and repair guy I like to go to. Is that I could say I got a 2012 Ford Ranger, and I need a gasket for my transmission. For my transmission pan. Well, okay, I got that for you. And he knows exactly what I need. He doesn't have to go look it up into a couple of books. The dude knows his stuff. That's what I'm getting at. All right, we're going to head over to line number 2 and talk to Stan Cisar, get us results from Eagle Raceway, and Stan's got a big winner that I think maybe she might still be celebrating. How you doing this morning, Stan?
I'll tell you what, they were still celebrating in the pit area when I left last night, but boy, I'll tell you what an awesome, I talk about this every Sunday morning, it seems like, when I talk to you guys about results, but an awesome A feature in that IMCA RaceSaver Sprint Car division, and we've been hyping the Super Nationals, all night long. And that A feature in the sprint car division last night, it backed up everything we had said. And what a way to look forward to next week's Super Nationals coming up. Shaylee Bade picking up her first win at Eagle Raceway, not without a fight. There were 3 consecutive green-white checkers at the end of that race. And her battle with Toby Chapman and Jason Martin just were crazy. And when I interviewed her on the front stretch after the feature win, white flag lap, she's coming around turn 2, exactly the same place she hit the wall last week. Toby forced her a little high. She's up in the crumbs, up in the cushion there, bounced off the guardrail a little bit and continued on down the backstretch. Actually made the pass then going into turn 3 on Toby for the lead on the white flag lap, and what an awesome finish, and the crowd went wild.
I'll bet they did. And we saw some videos on her Facebook page of somebody that had videotaped her. I think it's her pits. Her pit crew.
It looked like a NASCAR Sprint Cup celebration.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'll tell you what, a very well-deserved win, and she had the heat right there. Toby Chapman was second. Jason Martin was third. Adam Gullion was fourth. Jack Dover shows up in a car that they put together about 10 o'clock yesterday morning. They got a car together with Rick Bowers and got a 305 in it, and Jack shows up after the heat races had already started last in his heat race, had to run the B main, qualified out of the B main, which he won, started at the rear of the feature and raced his way all the way up to the 5th position, rounded out the top 5. And it was an awesome race. We had 35 cars in the house in the sprint car division. Shaylee Bade picked up her first win at Eagle Raceway, and Clint Benson clinched the track points championship in his second year racing in the sprint car division, and currently still, after his win Friday night up in Slayton, Minnesota, currently leading the national IMCA sprint car point standings.
Stan, I want to change gears here a little bit with you. Now I want to talk about sport mods. I had to reread this 4, 5, maybe 6 times this morning before we got in the studio. Did I see right? The 9X Joe Baker took second in the feature?
Joe Baker Actually, Joe Baker survived 3 green-white checkered caution flags on the last lap, as did as did in the sprint car division. And Joe had at one time probably a half straightaway lead on the field. And it was a shame because he was looking forward to that first win. And he and Scott Biven raced wheel to wheel on 3 consecutive caution flag restarts, and Joe held him off 2 out of the 3, and on the last one, Scott threw a slider on him over in turn number 2. Joe dipped back to the inside, and they raced each other clean. And Joe gave him actually probably just a little bit too much room coming off of turn number 4, and Scott held on for the win by about a half a car length. And Joe was pretty disappointed, but I'll tell you what, for a guy that really struggled at the beginning of the season, moving up into that sport mod division, to end his regular season with a second place finish against that competition that's at Eagle Raceway, it was like a win in his book, and that's something to really build on for next year. He was a pretty happy guy.
What are some of the other results we had last night at Eagle Raceway?
Well, kind of give you a quick recap. In the hobby stock division, Jason Cole out of Missouri Valley picked up the A-feature win over Adam Armstrong and John Kane. And with his third place finish, John Kane picked up the points championship. In the modified division, Chad Anderson picking up the A-feature win with a dominating performance over Justin Wolf. Rick Gropp with his best run of the year coming home in that third spot. And Johnny the Jet finished right behind Shane Hyatt. So doing so, picked up that points title by 4 points over Shane Hyatt in what was a great deal all year long. Sport Compact Division, Ramsey Meyer in the house last night once again, picked up the A-feature win over Matt Moyer and Kyle Owen, and Ramsey in that quest for the national championship, I believe currently second, but Matt Moyer picking up his second consecutive track title in the Sport Compact Division. We talked about the Sport Modifieds, an awesome battle between Scott Bivens and Joe Baker. Rick Rohrer came all the way out of the B main event up to a third place finish at the end. The points title, kind of anticlimactic. Unfortunately, a wreck on lap 2 in that feature, and in the wreck was Benji Legg and Gary Sadoff. They both went out in the accident. That gave Benji Legg the points championship because he had the lead going in, and they were going to race down to the wire for it. In the sprint car division, once again, we talked about Shaylee Bade picking up the win over Toby Chapman and Jason Martin. And there was a time Jason Martin, it looked like he was going to pass both of them. They were 3 wide down the backstretch with about 5 laps to go. And in doing so, Clint Benson picking up I believe a 6th place finish in car number 100, and that clinched his points championship, first ever in his second year of sprint car racing. It was 160 cars in the pits, great crowd in the grandstand. Like I said, a great way to end up the regular season at Eagle Raceway, and really looking forward to the 2 big specials we got coming up. 83 cars pre-registered for the Super Nationals this week. They're going to have an open practice session Thursday night, and tech cars all day long on Thursday and all day long on Friday, and 2 nights of qualifying, and then, of course, the big Super Nationals on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll be out there Saturday night in full force. We'll have our recording equipment going around getting interviews, kind of previewing what's going to go on Sunday night. Get interviews with the 27 drivers that are going to be fighting for a $31,000 total purse payout.
I can't wait for Saturday.
It's going to be awesome on Sunday, and then we'll be live again Sunday morning. We'll get a call in from Stan as long as you're recovered enough from the several days of racing you got ahead of you with Colin, and we always do appreciate you checking in with us, bud.
Hey, no problem. Good talking to you, and look forward to seeing you guys next week.
All right, have a good Sunday. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to head over. Let's talk with real quick. I hate to steal PJ's thunder, but we're running out of time, buddy. So we're going to take a quick look at Crawford County. We'll put PJ on. Go ahead and get on the air there, bud. PJ, you got us, bud?
Yeah, I'm here, bud.
All right, let's do a real quick recap. Just give me the winners from Crawford County on Friday night.
Well, obviously the feel-good story of the night was Kara Webb on Laps for Lyric night. Got rid of all the problems she's had. She ended up pulling out the victory. So great victory for her. Wild Bill Richards ended up winning in the hobby stock class, but, man, that points battle is going to be amazing coming Friday. In the stock car class, Mike Nichols. No, it wasn't Mike Nichols. Who was it? Oh, it's Chris Ulrich.
Going back to back, yeah. Chris Ulrich getting a second
I thought
win.
it was the 0-1-U.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain's fried right now.
Mike didn't have such a good night on Friday night. I think he might have been channeling his Kyle Busch that night.
Yeah, we're not going to go there. The Keegan Scott ended up getting the Sport Mod victory over his brother Logan. And in the modifieds, it was another feel-good story. Jesse Webb, Kara Webb's younger brother, got the victory. And right now, basically, Jesse Saubing just shows up Friday. He's got the title. Pretty much the same way with the stock cars and Mike Nichols. Keegan Scott, pretty much finishes the feature, and he's got it locked up too. But your Sport Compact and hobby stocks are going to be the two big ones. But I got to say a real big congratulations to the 01F hobby stock of Jeff Fink. Brought home his first ever track championship down at Shelby County last night. Him and all the other track champions down there. One of the Griffin boys, I can't think of which one it is, got the Sport Compacts. Sport Mods went to Dennis Cook. The late models went to Mel Zeitner. The stock cars, of course, went to Mike Nichols, and then Jesse Saubing picked up the modifieds.
And was last night the last night for the championship there at Shelby, or are they racing again on Saturday night?
Nope, that was the last one. And two more real quick things before you go to break. Yep. First off, congratulations to Shaylee Bade. That's an awesome thing to win at your home track after you've been trying so hard. And real quick, just kind of get up on my soapbox a little bit. Few comments on Facebook after Friday night in Denison, and I'm guilty of this too. I got my butt chewed last year for it. If you're a track official or a track employee, and Dan, you can help me out with this, watch what you say when you're away from the track, because you are a representative of the speedway you work at. A track official at 3 different tracks, not going to name names, was saying some very disparaging comments about a few different drivers, one in particular, and just kind of got blasted for it. You really need to watch what you say and what you do, even if you're away from the track, because you are a representative of the tracks you work at, whether you're there or not.
That's a good point, and we do appreciate it, PJ. Thanks so much for calling in. You have yourself a good Sunday.
You too.
All right, results from, we're trying to rush through this so we can get into turn number 3. We've got Curt Peters on the phone. He's going to be joining us in turn number 3 to talk about the Dave Farren auction. So I'm trying to get through these as quickly as possible. Shelby County results. Taylor Griffin gets the W in the Sport Compacts. Shannon Anderson took it home in the hobby stocks. Clint Llewellyn, high heels and all, takes it home in the Sport Mods. That's the right Clint Llewellyn, right?
Yeah, high heels.
Yeah, loves it. Loves
number 19.
Yep.
Win.
Mike Nichols took home in the stock cars. Mel Zeitner took it home in the late models, and Chris Abelson got the win in the modifieds. For I-80 Speedway, I'm going to work backwards here. Dave Schreiner. Am I saying that right? Schreiner out of Weeping Water, Nebraska. Schreiner? Like the Shriners. Okay, I should have gotten that. In the Hornets, Corey Dumpert took home the win in the Grand Nationals. In the Pro-Ams, it was Kyle Vanover. John Plowman got the win in the B-Mods. Dylan Smith got the win in the A-Mods. And Tad Pospisil took home the W for the late models. That's a quick check of the results from the dirt tracks around the area. If we've got time in turn number 4, I do want to talk about the Tiny Lund. So we'll try to save time for that and future for Shelby County Speedway, because hopefully there is one. We'll be right back here on the front stretch.
This week's Young Gun on the front stretch is Jordan Evans. At the age of 9, Jordan sat down in his first kart with the help of his father, Corey Evans, Chuck and Tom Spinell, and Butch Bade. Chuck taught Jordan and Corey how to set up a car. Tom taught Jordan how to drive, and Butch offered his expertise in all that is racing. Jordan started out at Wavelength Raceway in Waverly, Nebraska, before moving to Eagle Raceway. Jordan has won several International Karting Federation races in the Midwest, all while racing up front with the Midwest's best kart drivers. Jordan wants to make his way up to a RaceSaver 305, but needs the sponsorship and funding to make such a move. Outside of racing, Jordan helps Buddy Ray with the Holiday Horsepower Drive, raising money for Children's Hospital of Omaha. Make sure to keep your eye out for the 99 flat cart at Little E. It's driven by Jordan Evans. He's this week's Young Gun on the front stretch.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit KansasSpeedway.com today.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility, with karts that can reach 45 miles an hour because they rip the governors out and design the track to be fun yet challenging. This isn't your typical amusement park go-kart track. This is white-knuckle, full-throttle racing at its best. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everybody's raving about. Located just off 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs, or online at joeskarting.com and on Facebook, too. Get to Joe's today and unleash your inner race car driver.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
All right, we are halfway done with the show. This is moving along like a lap at Bristol.
Fast and furious. Nobody's got the chrome horn yet, though.
We kind of gave it to PJ, but
yeah,
I do apologize, buddy. We went a little long in the first turn, so we weren't able to get to PJ as much as possible. But he's absolutely right on everything he talked about. The feel-good story of the night was Kara Webb is the chief organizer and really the face of the Laps for Lyrics. And so what a great feel-good story of the night. She was able to come out, finally work the Gremlins out of that Sport Compact, and get herself a win on the night that she's representing Lyric, who has Dravet syndrome, and is she was describing what Dravet syndrome is. Oh my God, I just felt so horrible.
Was there ever a report as to how much money was raised with the Pass the Helmet?
Well, no, but and I'll have to. We're going to talk to Lap for Lyric in a couple of weeks on the front stretch, which will probably be Kara. So I'll have her get a tallied number. But I'll tell you what, a lot of drivers stepped up that night and said, "Here's our race check. Give it to the Lap for Lyrics Foundation," which I mean. NASCAR drivers don't do that, and the guy who finished last at Bristol took home $71,000. Now, that in the world grand scheme of paying for things in NASCAR versus dirt tracking, NASCAR still, that paycheck still doesn't pay for much of anything. But you know, a NASCAR guy could give a couple $1,000s. Equivalent of that is a race check for these drivers, especially sport compact drivers, hobby stock drivers. These guys that the payouts are terrible, and the cars are just getting more and more expensive, which is a whole nother conversation we're going to have someday of, we got to raise these purses. I realize that everyone's struggling, but we got to raise these purses. But anyways, bravo to those drivers that stepped up and donated to the Laps for Lyrics, donated their entire race check, their entire funding for the night to pay for the pit passes, the gas, the repairs, everything they've got to do. All right, let's take a head over the phone lines. We're going to talk with Curt Peters, organizer for the Dave Farren auction. Curt, thanks so much for taking the time out of your morning and joining us.
How you doing, boys? Good morning.
We're hanging in there. We're enjoying another beautiful Sunday in the Midwest.
Hey, and first thing I do is thank old buddy Ray for helping us out here. He jumped on board, and it's greatly appreciated for me and the Farren family.
Well, let's start from the very beginning, which is the best place to start, unless you're a Quentin Tarantino movie. Who is Dave Farren, and how did this whole thing come about?
Well, Dave Farren is in my opinion, one of the three founding pioneers of the IMCA modified division. We'll just start with his stats. 40-plus track championships, 2 IMCA national modified titles, 300-plus career wins from 1968 to 2008. Over my part of the woods, you know, the three, and I'm not taking it away from Mr. Merritt, Mr. Larkins, Denny Hovengay, and the boys, but, you know, we grew up in Davis, Farren, and Larson country, you know, and them are the three guys in state Iowa that kind of put the IMCA modified division on the map. And we got these three guys behind us. We've got, what you need to do is get on Facebook, go to the Dave Farren Fan Club, jump on there as a member just to show support of the family, and there's dozens and dozens of items from the who's who of the IMCA world and all the divisions up for auction. And what we're going to do, we're going to shut the auction down noon September 6th, so get on there and start doing some bids. It's going to take us a week to get all the accounting done on this. It's funny, you know, and I couldn't have done this. I got a phone call about a week ago, 10 days ago, from a good friend of mine. Says Dave's is battling the Big C and having some trouble, and I got a hold of Doug Davis, and I couldn't do this without the Davis family. Jamie Songer, Todd Cooney, the who's who in this part of the country have jumped on board, and we got some pretty neat items on there. You know, the cream of the crop is, we call it the Holy Grail of helmets. We've got a signed Bill Davis Sr., Wayne Larson, and Mr. Farren Dave himself on there. That's up to, I think, $350. It's going to break the bank. I think we got a lot of sandbaggers waiting for the last day. We've got what we call the Legends and the Young Guns helmet. That's going to have Mr. Larson, Mr. Davis, and Mr. Farren on there. And then there's about 4, 5, 6 Young Guns coming up out of Iowa here that are just something pretty special. We got this Kendall Davis kid, class act from the Davis family. He's on there. We got Riley Songer from the Hobby Stock. We got my son Jordan Peters on there. We got Matt Webb. I mean, the who's who in this part of the country. We got Cole Ferguson on there. We got Nick Roberts, I think 2013 Super National winner in the Sport Mod. We had, say, Matt Webb, last year's Sport Mod Rookie of the Year. We got Sean Cooney. This kid's going to be something pretty special. Hell, I don't even think he's got a driver's license yet, and he's lighting them up over here. His old man's Todd, which is another story altogether. Todd's a good man. His wife and I haven't figured out for what yet, but what the hell.
You know, just a little bit of a side note. I've found that Todd Cooney gives it as much as he gets, and that man gets it a lot. So he's...
I can't even say on here what he calls me.
Yeah, it's not even Facebook friendly, and they don't censor that stuff.
That Songer Cooney battle was epic. We had a lot of fun with it. We raised a lot of money for Hannah and a couple charities, and it was awesome. Todd's a good man. He's jumped on board, and we're putting together this 3F Farren Retro Hobby Stock. We got Jake Murray's running the Farren colors at the Super Nationals. I got to get a hold of Lottie, see if it's okay if we can keep our big old party bus there all week. I'm going to have these helmets on display, and we got drivers from all over the country shooting panels, pictures. I just got a message this morning from Kevin Larkins. He's threw one of his fire suits on there. That man's up there in the top tier of the greatest of all time, too. You know, I'll never get in that debate of who's the greatest of all time. But as these founding drivers are getting a little older, we got to show our support for these guys, because I don't think the IMCA division from all the classes would be in the shape they are today if it wasn't for these guys. You know, there's semis full of trophies from these guys. You know,
yeah.
we grew up being, you know, these are our heroes growing up, and I raced for years, and, you know, and it's neat to see all these second and third generation drivers coming up, that basically I don't know that they'd be there in the shape they are today if it wasn't for them 3 guys.
So what is the current state of Dave Farren right now? How's he doing as we speak?
Yeah, like I say, Dave's fighting the Big C. He's doing well. He's home. He's going through treatment. You know, our thoughts and prayers are with him. His wife, Peggy, is just a saint, and she needs all the help she can right now, and just good people, folks.
Now, what's his demeanor been like towards the Great American Auction with Dave Farren?
Well, you know, Dave's a quiet man. He's a man of few words. Some of my favorite stories, you know, we run Farren cars for years, and he'd call over the phone, he'd pick the phone up and say, "Yeah, what?" You know, and you know, it is so funny, you know, that Larson, Davis, and Farren, all 3 different personalities, you know, lighting them up all over the country. You know, Wayne Larson by the book, Mr. Professional, dressed to a T, and Bill, just a good old country boy having a good time winning trucks full of trophies. And you know, and then Dave was the quiet one, the man of few words, and he won them 2 national titles, 300 wins and everything out of a 2-car garage with a rock driveway, folks. There wasn't no semis hauling his equipment. It was an old dually, an enclosed trailer. He built them from scratch, and you know, I always respected the man for that.
That's great. Yeah, what? I still got to go through my head.
That sounds a lot like
Dennis Cook.
Yeah, exactly. All right, Dave Farren Fan Club. It couldn't get any easier. I was able to spell it out the first time. Dave, Farren Fan Club is where you can go. I just shared the link on my Facebook page for fans to go over there and check it out. They've got some great auction items available.
They've got some cool stuff on that.
Really cool stuff. That helmet, Buddy knows how much of a fan I am of autographed helmets.
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple more. That Young Guns and Legends helmet's something pretty special. Wayne Larson, I got to throw a few more in there. Wayne Larson donated one of his championship helmets. It's going to be signed just by Mr. Larson. I'm hustling Rex Merritt and a bunch of other guys to get on board here. Make sure you guys get on there and bid, because it's tough for me to hustle these drivers. These guys are pulling John Watson, the mayor, one of the greatest hobby stock drivers there's ever been, pulled one of his helmets right off his trophy shelf. And I'm working these guys to jump on there and bid. You know, it would have a blast with it and just took off. Like I say, I got to thank the Davises, the Coonies, Jamie Songer, Michael Wombat Walrod, that crazy Indian from Hawkeye Auto Salvage, and he's jumped on board and helping us out, and it's just been a blast.
How many?
How do I bid? I haven't figured that out yet. Is there a certain website I can go to and bid on these items, or do I do it on the fan page?
You just do it right on the Dave Farren Fan Club.
Okay.
They're all listed, and you just post your bid. Highest bidder wins. I mean, we've got T-shirts, helmets. I mean, panels. There's some neat panels. We got the one of the neat things that for me is, I grew up in stock car division, went modified later, is that we've got a signed 5-time Super National winner Steve Jackson $2 bill with one of the biggest rivals in IMCA stock car history, Big Don Killen. And that thing's going crazy on there because them two guys, in my epic battles in the stock car division, you got to throw that one in there with the all-time greats.
How many total items is there? We're scrolling through the Facebook page, and it's item after item after item after item.
But, it's hilarious. When I started, I figured there'd be 200-300 people on here bidding, and I think we're over 2,000 people, and there's dozens of items on there. I keep adding them as these legendary drivers throw this stuff on there. Pardon me. Had too many beers last night.
There's no such thing as there's no such thing as too many.
Especially when you're getting ready to go to Boone, there's especially nothing as too many.
See, I got to condition my liver for the Super Nationals.
Exactly. You got to get that baby into shape. It's like exercise.
Yeah.
Well, we got the big party bus loaded up. Jamie Songer donated a hauler for us. It's a great big old school bus. We nicknamed it the Cooney because it's kind of a short bus. And there's 24 cases of beer in this thing already, and I don't think that's enough.
No. You need 24 kegs.
Well, my pit crew was missing for 3 days, and I put their pictures on a milk carton and didn't do any good. As soon as I put it on a Coors Light beer can, good God, they found them in 15 minutes.
All right, Kurt, we gotta wrap this up. We gotta get into turn number 4. Wrap it up for us really quick. Website and final information where we can get some of these items at.
Okay, go to the Dave Farren Fan Club on Facebook. You don't have to join as a member because it's an open group, but put it on there to show the support for the family. Scroll down the items and take your time. I mean, it's a list and a list a mile long. And there's just bid, like saying, we're shutting her down at noon, September 6th, the Saturday, the Super Nationals.
Okay.
And so don't sandbag, folks. Jump on there. I'm hustling these drivers for more items.
All right, sir. We do appreciate you joining us this morning, and we will talk to you hopefully very shortly.
We'll see you at the Nationals, boys.
All right, have a good one. That was Curt Peters, head organizer for the Dave Farren Fan Club, raising money for Dave Farren, who's been diagnosed with cancer. I was trying to do a quick recap or a quick look at how much cancer costs.
It's astronomical.
Jesus.
You can't you almost, it's so expensive. You almost cannot put a figure on that.
Well, medical insurance companies have. They've put a figure on it.
Well, they'll put a figure on anything.
Jeez. Look at this. Bladder cancer, $22,000 initially, and then $3,700 to start. You're looking at about $75,000 when everything's all done and said. Brain cancer, $150,000. Breast cancer, $65,000. This is the average cost as of 2010. So help raise money for Dave Farren. And I wrote a little note down and kind of showed you, and I think we both agreed. I think Dave Farren will be the next, will be on the Legends of the Dirt this year.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. The only thing I worry about after talking to Kurt was.
Yeah, you always worry about it, but you never want to say it. We're gonna keep it up so that he is gonna make it, and he'll be around Christmas time.
I wasn't worried about that. I was actually wondering what was it like driving a modified? Oh, you know.
You know what? Nothing could be as bad as Sammy Swindell. That guy was a tough interview. All right, we got to take a break. We'll be back in turn number 4 to talk to Jim Howe of Mid America Motorplex. We'll be back.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit KansasSpeedway.com today.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility, with karts that can reach 45 miles an hour because they rip the governors out and design the track to be fun yet challenging. This isn't your typical amusement park go-kart track. This is white-knuckle, full-throttle racing at its best. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everybody's raving about. Located just off 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs, or online at joeskarting.com and on Facebook, too. Get to Joe's today and unleash your inner race car driver.
The best bike night on the planet continues with the hottest Wednesday nights around at Quaker Steak and Lube. Smoking hot deals like $6.99 lube burgers or $3 Busch Lights, $4 aluminum pint bottles, smoking bands on the lube stage, and smoking giveaways like concert tickets to Firehouse at Ralston Arena or Stir Cove. Bike night at Quaker Steak and Lube, brought to you by Holstein's Harley Davidson, each and every Wednesday night, where there's never a cover charge and always a great time. Quaker Steak and Lube, next to the Mid America Center in Council Bluffs. 40 years and still smoking.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the front stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Welcome back to the front stretch. Turn number 4, brought to you by Kansas Speedway. I talked about it. We're only 2 races away from finding out who is locked into the chase. And then it all comes down to the chase for the championship. Kansas is the first race in the contender round. October 4th and 5th. The Cup Series is on the 5th. Nationwide Series on the 4th. It's going to be an awesome weekend. It's the Hollywood Casino 400, October 5th. Tickets are on sale now. Visit KansasSpeedway.com. I actually saw a commercial for the Kansas Speedway race last night, and it reminded me.
So did I.
It reminded me that you can bring soft-sided coolers. Put whatever drinks you want to in there. And you could bring a soft-sided cooler into the speedway. Those races do tend to go a little while. Put yourself a lunch in there. I mean, God knows that you could use a little bit of substance in your belly after consuming a couple of 6-packs of beer at the track. That's one great thing I love about a lot of these tracks around here. They allow you to bring soft-sided coolers into the track. This isn't, like you can't bring a backpack, you can't bring this, security pat-downs. A NASCAR race is very, bring it, and as long as it's safe. They don't need anything hard-sided that could be used as a projectile. Soft-sided cooler, that's a great thing. Ticket packages for the October 4th and 5th race available at KansasSpeedway.com. For the NASCAR chase for the Sprint Cup, Hollywood Casino 400, October 5th. Tickets are on sale now. Again, visit KansasSpeedway.com. Waiting for Jim Howe to give us a call and to get us updated on the Geezer Challenge. I got to pull up my page again. I got too many pages going on here. The 7th annual Hot Rod Geezer Drag Show and drag race and show. It's this weekend. It's actually today. It all wraps up August 24th. Tickets are available at the gate, and it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day for it, by the way. Gates are opening now, actually. I keep texting him because I think he's busy opening up the gates to give us a call, so we'll see if he can give us a call. MidAmericaMotorplex.com for more ticket information.
There is nothing boring at that place at all either. I don't care if it's the old geezers, ice cream cruise, whatever it is, there's always something fun going on down at Mid America Motorplex. They
showed up in full force Thursday at Quaker Steak and Lube and did an absolutely fantastic job.
I heard the guys that were there from the Geezers Car Club, I guess a lot of those cars were just absolutely gorgeous and beautiful.
God, yeah. They absolutely were. And I actually got, Jim was nice enough, he set me up with a raffle ticket for a 1976 Chevy Nova. It's a 350 turbo trans, stall converter, runs a 7.9 on an 8th mile track. Can you imagine how, if I won that thing?
Well, okay, this is not the car for you, Dan. You drive a Ford Ranger with 32 horsepower. Now, I drive a race car. Let me take this, and I'll let you know what it's like when I win this.
Listen, it doesn't. You drive a race car straight into the wall. Come on now. Let's face it. I think I would be better off with this baby.
But I do it with style.
You can get these raffle tickets. They're $20 a piece. The raffle is going to be drawn, I believe that's today. There's only 500 of them being available, and I have number 207. And I'm going to go down there today. I'm going to pick me up a couple more because you can get one for $20, or you can get I think it was 6 for $100. So all the proceeds are going to go to PSTD and Track Improvement Fund, PSD, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. So all that great stuff going on today at the Mid America Motorplex. Gates are open now. Head down there today. You can still pick up your raffle tickets for this 1976 Chevy Nova. A best friend of mine actually used to have a Nova. It was actually, I think it was a 76 Nova. And I told Jim, I said, if I win it, I'm driving it down to Texas. I'm going to give it to him because that was my best friend's first car. And every time we get together and we tell old stories, it's always about.
Do you know how much it costs to drive that to Texas?
I don't care. I'd do it.
You get about 3 miles a gallon.
And now he called my cell phone. Jimbo, you got to call the studio line, not my cell phone. I think we're going to run out of time, though, unfortunately. Yep. But listen, you've got all the information you need. Get to Mid America Motorplex in Council Bluffs. Actually, it's in Pacific Junction. What's that exit? It's the it's the same exit you go
Pacific
to the
Junction.
Yeah, it's the same exit. I'm sorry, I don't know the exit number, but I know.
I tell you what, easiest way coming from Omaha, you take 29 south, you get off at the Glenwood exit.
Glenwood exit.
You get off to the Glenwood exit, you're going to take a right, you're going to go down about maybe a quarter of a mile, and you're going to turn off to the left, and then just follow the road around, and you'll be good to go.
Isn't it the same exit as the Playhouse?
Yeah, it might. No, okay. No. I think that's farther down.
All right, we got Jim on the phone lines. Here he is. Jimbo, how you doing, big guy?
Hey, what's going on, Dan? What's going on this morning, buddy?
Hey, we appreciate you joining us. We only got a few minutes left in the show, so we got to make it quick. But, you're busy opening up the gates and getting ready for the 7th Annual Geezer Hot Rod Show.
Yep, that's right. I'm on the front stretch of your show, and I'm on the front stretch of the road course right now. Parking show cars are coming through the gate. Should have 200-300 show cars here shortly, and we got some really good drag racing talent. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be one heck of a day today.
Jim, go ahead, buddy.
Jim, how do people, we were just talking about this before we got you on the line, how do people get to Mid America Motorplex exactly?
You just go down I-29 south, leave Omaha, go south on I-29 to exit 35 Glenwood. Take a right, and you can follow the signs. It's 2 miles from right there. Just get off exit 35, a right, and a left, and you're there.
All right, it's really easy to get there, actually, and you can see it as you're going south on 29. You see the drag strip and the racetrack, the road course, and then just after that is the exit to go to the Mid America Motorplex.
Real quick, when Jim and Howe and these guys do something down there at Mid America Motorplex, this is why you always want to go. And I've been a reciprocant of this. You'll have a car show going on today, like I had a car show going on in April. You might have a drag racing event going on. But a lot of times down at Mid America Motorplex, you might have 2 or 3 events going on, and so there's a little bit of something for everybody. It's not like, well, we're just going to go look at this car show. You're liable to see a car show. You're liable to see a road race on the 2.3-mile road course, and you're liable to see maybe a little bit of strip racing on the drag strip.
Hey, I like that strip racing.
Well, yeah, okay, that's disturbing.
What's the race going on today at 12:30, bud?
It's the Geezer Hot Rod Show and Go. It's all the old metal from all over Omaha. Like right now, I'm watching a 57 back in. I see a 40 Chevy. I see a Camaro, a 69 Camaro coming through the gate. We got a lot of stuff. But if you get down here today, we have 6 blown alcohol cars. They're going to be making passes, and we have 2 top fuel cars, Blind Faith and Wildsider here. So we got actually 2 super fast top fuel cars and a bunch of blown alcohol cars. We have nostalgia gassers. We have super stockers. We have a ton of really, really neat stuff here today. It's once in a year stuff that you're going to see.
All right, buddy. We're running out of time for the show. When is the raffle drawn, and when can I come and pick up my 76 Nova?
We are drawing that car right at 1 o'clock. We got 40-some tickets left. So come on down, and we're only selling 500. And you know what? That thing's going at 1 o'clock.
Okay, I'm coming down today. I got nothing going on, no NASCAR I got to watch. I'm coming down. I'll see you down there today. All right, buddy?
You bet. We're looking forward to seeing you. It's going to be a great day. Thanks a lot for everything, guys.
Mid America Motorplex, south on I-29, exit 35. Get there today. Thank you so much to Craig for producing the show. Always do a great job keeping us in line. We'll be back next weekend to cover it all. We'll be back on the front stretch next weekend. Thanks. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Only one word describes NASCAR at Kansas Speedway. Fantastic. Parking's free. Coolers are welcome. Fantastic, you say? Then don't miss the Chase for the Sprint Cup Hollywood Casino 400 October 5th. Tickets include more seats for $99 or less and kids tickets for just $29. How fantastic is that? Call 866-460-RACE or visit KansasSpeedway.com today.
Joe's Karting is the Metro's fastest indoor karting facility. With karts that can reach 45 miles an hour because they rip the governors out and design the track to be fun yet challenging. This isn't your typical amusement park go-kart track. This is white-knuckle, full-throttle racing at its best. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everybody's raving about. Located just off 23rd Avenue in Council Bluffs or online at joeskarting.com and on Facebook, too. Get to Joe's today and unleash your inner race car driver.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he's talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
You have just a few more days to get your tickets for the biggest RaceSaver sprint car event of the year. The RaceSaver IMCA Sprint Super Nationals return to Eagle Raceway this coming weekend with open practice kicking off on Thursday and qualifying races on Friday and Saturday. Then the nation's top RaceSaver 305 drivers will compete for the crown on Sunday. Green flag times, ticket and weekend packages are available at EagleRaceway.com. The RaceSaver IMCA Sprint Super National this weekend at Eagle Raceway, America's home track.